Good evening, everyone. This is the League Commissioner, Raul Ortega speaking, and this is your Week 8 recap. First, before we get started, I want to let everybody know that the first game starts today at 7 o'clock p.m., so make sure you get your rosters in before that time. Now, to get going here, I want to talk about some notes from last week. Number one, Kyrie Irving is off of injury reserve, so if you have him on your team, you want to get him at least into your team roster. And if you have any other players that are on IR, you can switch spots with them. Expect Kyrie Irving to take a couple games to get used to it, and then you should be able to start him with confidence once you feel like he's pretty healthy. I'd give him a few games. Number two, I told you guys, pay attention to your matchups. Pay attention to how many games you're playing. The number 50 overall player is the first player that played 2 games or less. Number three, the number one overall guard win against the number one overall forward last week. We'll see who won that matchup. And finally, the Las Vegas Pretty Boys did not have a guard score in the top 20 ranking last week. And the commish benched the number 2 forward last week. So, interesting notes put there. And without further ado, let's look into the playoff brackets. As y'all know, we're about a quarter way through the first half, quarter way through the season. And a little mistake on our part, but there are 6 teams going to the playoffs this year. It was supposed to be 4. So we got battles for bye weeks and then 4 other teams getting in. As it stands right now, the Jeremy is a better commish with the number 1 ranked seed. Team Jensen's number 2. And the Las Vegas Pretty Boys would go against the commish. And Team Audrey would go against He Split Her Open and Came Inside. So that would be the playoffs if they started today. Let's see what happens in 5 weeks when we reevaluate those. And now, let's get into the trophies. The first trophy goes to the Grant Hill Award. And the Grant Hill Award trophy goes to the He Split Her Open and Came Inside, who scored 440 points. 100 points from Chris Paul, 89 from Pau Gasol, 98 from Marc Gasol, 83 from Damian Lillard. The lowest scoring really was Dwayne Wade at 70 points. Miraculous week, 440 points to earn the award for most points for the week. Alternatively, the team that earned the award for the least points of the week, the Rodney White Award, was the commish, who had a woeful 261 points. Looking here at the commission's lineup, on the bench was Hassan Whiteside, who had 100 points, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, 67 and 60 respectively, and Ken Freed at 74. Starting, Otto Porter Jr., 6 points, Greg Monroe, 38 points, even Russell Westbrook with 58 points. Really tough week for the commish. The commish not only got the lowest points, but the biggest loss at 69 points, which earned Jeremy is a better commish with the biggest win award, which is the Allen Iverson for biggest loss and Andre Drummond for biggest win. So now let's get into the rankings. First, the guards. There are 3 free agents in the top 20 for guards last week. Goran Dragic and Kent Bazemore, each with 70 points respectively. Trevor Ariza was 77. The top 5 guards were James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, Ricky Rubio, who was on the bench for Las Vegas Pretty Boys, which I don't blame him, and Jimmy Butler. The number 1 overall guard was Chris Paul. Chris Paul averaged over the last 5 games 17.6 points with 10.8 assists, 3.4 steals, shooting 91% on free throw line and a 42% field goal percentage. Not a great week, but a good enough week to get #1 overall. Next, the top 10 forwards, top 20 forwards. There are 2 free agents in the top 20, Jordan Hill at number 15 and Gorgui Dieng at number 9. Now, Gorgui Dieng has been in this top 20 a few times this year. He's definitely worth the pickup. Hint, hint. The top 5 were Nikola Vukovic, who was benched, Marc Gasol, Hassan Whiteside, who was benched, and Blake Griffin. And the #1 overall forward was Anthony Davis. Over his last 5 games, he had an average of 22 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3.4 blocks, shooting 48% from the field. Pretty low for a big man, but 83% free throw percentage, which is amazing. So those are your top 2 guards, top 2 positions respectively, forwards and guards, forwards as well centers. And now let's break down the team rosters with the top 20 overall players. Of the top 20 overall players, the Commish has 4 of them. The only team with 4 players in the top 20. Team Jensen, D's Nuts Sub-Zero, and Team Audrey each have 3 players based on ranking efficiency. Team Jensen is number 2 overall with 6.6. D's Nuts Sub-Zero is number 3 with 9. And Team Audrey is number 4 with 14.3. Las Vegas Pretty Boys, Jeremy is a better commish, and he split her open and came inside. Each have 2 respectively based on ranking efficiency. Las Vegas Pretty Boys at 6.5 earned number 5. Jeremy's a better commish is at 10.5 to be number 6. He split her open and came inside is at 15.5 to get number 7. And finishing it off is Team A-Flow with 1 player. The top 20 players, the top 5 are Andre Drummond, number 5, Blake Griffin, number 4, James Harden, number 3, Russell Westbrook, number 2, and Stephen Curry with 855 points, number 1 overall fantasy player. So those are the rankings for the players. Next, let's get this preview going for next week. First matchup, the Commish versus D's Nuts Vitamin D. The Commish just had the worst week of the year, being the only team not to score 300 points. D's Nuts Vitamin D is on a 3-game losing streak. Somebody's got to pull it off in this one. The committee has voted, and they're picking the Commish to get back on his winning ways. Next, Jeremy is a better commish versus Team Audrey. This is the game of the week. Jeremy is a better commish is alone in first place in the East with a 3-game winning streak. Team Audrey is 1 game behind with a 3-game winning streak. Both of these teams have the longest winning streak right now this year. The winner the committee has chosen will be Team Audrey in a very close matchup. Next, he split her open and came inside versus Team Jensen. He split her open and came inside, scored the most points last week of any other team the entire year with 440 points. Team Jensen got a good victory last week, narrowly beating A-Flow to stay tied for first in the West. However, he split her open and came inside is also just 1 game behind. The committee has chosen. He split her open and came inside. And finally, Team A-Flow versus the Las Vegas Pretty Boys. Team A-Flow has yet to win this year at 0-5. But one of their big players has came back from IR, and it's not Al Jefferson. So I would bench him if I was Team A-Flow. It's Kyrie Irving. Don't know if I'd play him this week or not, but there could be some positives coming in. Las Vegas Pretty Boys scored the second most points last week, but lost to the #1 overall team last week. With 390 points, Las Vegas Pretty Boys lost, and it's going to be a really tough battle for A-Flow to pull off a victory. So the committee has chosen the Las Vegas Pretty Boys to keep doing what they do, and that's get a victory. This is your Week 8 recap, and this is your Week 9 preview. This is the commish signing off, and remember to make trades, play the wire. I'll catch y'all next week. Have a good one.